All right. Hi, everybody. I'm here with Stacy Broad and
Actually,
Board.
Stacy Board.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
The what is your official title here at Shadowbox?
Executive Director.
Executive Director of the
Yes.
Shadowbox Theater
Yeah.
here in Columbus, Ohio.
Actually, we
And
call it Shadowbox Live. So I'm just going to
yeah, keep correcting me.
Yeah,
I'm so
just
sorry.
keep-
I'm
yeah,
getting them
it's
all
okay.
wrong.
No, it's
Shadowbox Live.
Yep.
It's a 2-stage theater and a bar.
Yeah, so we have Shadowbox Live is the nonprofit organization.
Okay.
We've been in existence for about 30 years.
Yeah.
And we make art. You
Yeah.
know, we make art that and create art and promote art.
And you do like 400 shows a year, right?
Yeah, we do about 400 performances a year.
So
We do
many.
all original productions, so we do about 19 original productions a year,
Incredible.
and serve about probably 80,000 people total annually. Yeah, it's been a crazy ride.
I bet it has. And you're from Cincinnati originally, right?
Well, yes, if you really did your research, but yeah. So I was born in Cincinnati. I grew up in Marietta, Ohio.
Okay.
Came to Columbus for Ohio State, and relocated in Cincinnati about 15 years ago to run our Cincinnati operation. And then when we closed down that operation and closed down Easton and consolidated in Columbus, I just stayed down there. So I am commuting still.
Really?
Yeah, but I hope to move back up here permanently in 2 years when my youngest gets ready to start high school. So that's the
How long
plan.
have you been commuting for?
Since 2011.
That's a great
It's
commute.
a really long time. Yes, it is. Me and I-71 are pretty tight at this point.
Yeah, I bet you're best friends.
Yeah.
This is kind of a strange. What do you do in the car while you're?
So, audiobooks. Like I
Audible?
do. Yes, I
Audible
do.
is the stuff.
Audible is amazing.
Yeah.
I do a lot of podcasts.
Wonderful.
I learn my music. I learn my lines. I make phone calls, and sometimes I just turn all of it off and just have silence.
That must be really nice.
It
Yeah,
is
on the way
very
home
nice.
from work, I usually do just silence.
Yes, silence
You
is
need
okay.
it for a little bit, yeah.
Absolutely.
How do you learn? I know we've drifted away already, but how do you do your line learning while you're in the car?
Probably the way you're not supposed to.
You just read. You just
But
read.
yeah, so yeah, I just have the script in my hand, and as I'm driving, and I just kind of think through the line, and then I'll check the
Make
check
sure
the
it's right.
paper. Yeah, to make
Yeah.
sure it's right. Yeah.
So clearly you're an actor too and a
Yes,
singer.
I am.
And you went to college for opera singing, correct?
Yes.
And but now you're doing rock comedies.
Well, it's a natural transition, right?
course,
I mean,
yeah.
that's what pretty much every opera singer does,
I would
right?
say so,
They think,
yeah.
well, hey, I'm just going to learn some business, and while I'm at it, let me sing some rock and roll. So it was a natural evolution, very smooth and easy. No, I'm
Yeah.
totally joking.
Right.
So I knew in high school. Well, actually, I didn't know in high school. My choir teacher actually was the one that said, hey, what are you going to do after you graduate? And I said, well, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to study yet. I did know I wanted to go to Ohio State. I'd want a scholarship for cheerleading. And then I also knew that I was from a small town and I wanted to go to the biggest school I could possibly go to.
Right.
So Ohio State was a natural choice.
And it's not
And-
too far from Marietta.
No,
either.
no, it's not at all. But it didn't matter. I mean, I just needed to go somewhere big where there were opportunities and
People
just,
and all these
people and
things.
just everything. So and my teacher said, I really think you should audition for the School of Music. And at first, I wasn't really sold on the idea. I knew I wanted to do something like maybe journalism. I wanted to do something on TV, or I always really liked to teach, and I wasn't really settled. So I agreed as long as it was made clear to me that I didn't have to do it if I got accepted, So I went and auditioned for the School of Music, and I got in and did very, very well. But it wasn't like I was sitting in high school going, God, you know what? My life would be complete if I could be an opera singer. Like
Right.
that never crossed my mind. That just happened to be the only degree that the music department was offering. The musical theater department was going defunct. So I did opera because I just happened on it, to be
Yeah,
honest. I
you
was
just
good at
stumbled
it.
into it,
Yeah, I
right.
was good at it. I was getting a lot of professional gigging even when I was in college. And then that's when the opportunity to sing the backup for this rock opera from this crazy guy that I had heard about through friends needed a backup singer.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd give that a shot. And the intent was strictly just to show my versatility, and then I was going to take the classical world by storm.
Right.
But it spoke to me. The idea of telling a story through contemporary music and not having to do it the way it'd been done for hundreds of years.
Right. It's fresh. It was new.
It was fresh. It was interesting. Yeah. And so I kind of just thought, you know what? I think this is the direction I'm going to go. And so I finished my opera degree, and I'm glad that I did because I learned all the pedagogy. So I know how to teach how to sing rock and roll music and yet do it correctly so people don't hurt themselves.
Right.
And
hurt themselves singing.
Yeah, hurt themselves singing. Absolutely. Because, you hear a lot that, there's a lot of aspects to the rock vocal style that can be damaging to the vocal cords if you don't do it correctly. So having an understanding of the voice and the, all of that goes into it and how to support the voice and where to place it has allowed me to have a very, a long-lasting rock singing career and to be able to teach my people how to do it as well.
So you keep mentioning teaching, which is really cool because Nick showed me up here, and he is on the education team for dancing.
Yes.
And then I'm assuming
he was my first performance intern.
Oh, cool.
He is now obviously an ensemble member. He's our dance captain, and he is now my assistant in the education department.
Right.
So, yeah.
So what is that who are you educating?
High school kids. Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay, sweet.
Yeah. So we have some very progressive programs that we offer, anywhere from 15 to 21, depending on the program. And it all actually came from the notion that if you came into our company, whether you're a theater major, whether you're a singer, whatever, you still had to learn to do what we did. So there was already teaching that was involved. So
Right.
I was already, the vocal director for the company. And we had to teach comedy because, sketch comedy wasn't necessarily an art form that was mastered by a lot of these theater, majors.
And it's a hard thing to do on its own. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we were already teaching. So then when we got to a point as an organization that we were, becoming a little bit more of a pillar within the theater community, we decided it was now time to give back. And so we opened up our doors and our hearts, and I created these with my colleagues. I created these programs which basically are teaching kids to be rock stars on and off stage, really and truly. And you don't send your kid to me if you want them to go see Disney, because I am not Disney. We hold their feet to the fire. I kick them out if I think that that's what's necessary. But it's about taking responsibility for your own journey, whether you decide to pursue a life in the arts or not. The same skills are applicable no matter what you do.
No, 100%. I was, like I said, I was an acting major in college and in high school, and I think it was the best thing I ever did. You learned so much, and then improv classes
and controlling your nerves in an unfamiliar situation,
Right.
how to project.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
how to
just,
talk in front. Yeah, literally talking in front of people is hard enough. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's so cool that you guys did that. That's great.
Yeah. Still doing it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So if you don't mind, can we memento around a little bit and jump back? So, Shadowbox is the largest
resident ensemble theater company
in America. Mm-hmm. That's incredible.
It is incredible.
And you have 400
performances
a year. And how many how many ensemble cast members are there?
So we have 72 total, 45 full time.
45 full-time people.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
And so what distinguishes us from other organizations is, one, there are some summer stock theaters that they're only open in the summer, and they might have more, but we're the first full-time, salaried or year-round ensemble members that we have on staff. And everything we do is rock-oriented, you know. And I think that's pretty... it's kind of just permeates throughout everything, to be honest.
The rock and roll lifestyle kind of permeates through.
Yeah, and it's not like, they're crazy partiers. That's not what I mean. I mean, it's a matter of being bold and making strong choices and being authentic, being true to yourself, and taking chances.
Yeah.
Take chances of creating these work. We are kind of inspired by the world around us as far as who we pay tribute to, if it's a rock musical tribute, or what show we want to create, and what speaks to us. And we just take a lot of chances. I feel very fortunate to have the community that we have and the database that we have. These people that they could just literally watch entertainment on their phone, and yet they choose to get in their car and pay for gas and come down and pay for a ticket and pay for food and drink and make a commitment of about 4 hours within travel and Showtime
Right.
and everything, to come and see what we do, that they don't even know what it is, because
No.
we just created it. We just
Yeah.
made it up.
It's not like it's not like Cats.
Yeah, it's not like there's no
Or
name
something.
recognition.
Yeah,
Yeah,
these
other
are
than
just
just
random
Shadowbox
shows.
Live. Yeah, other than they trust us, and if it's not right, maybe that show didn't speak to them directly, they always give us a second chance.
Do you ever do a show again?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you have like reoccurring shows.
Yes, every once in a while we'll have a show that just warrants another short run.
Right.
Maybe a year later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long does it? So you have to just jump around more. Are you involved in writing the shows? The one that you're coming in now?
No. I don't typically do any of that. I help on the vocal side.
Yeah.
And I assist as far as just figuring out the messaging of the, how are we going to sell it and
The
all
marketing
of that.
and
The
all
market, yeah. Not even really the full marketing. It's more about garnering community support and finding partners that align specifically with that show. And so that's kind of my role in all of that.
Right.
Yeah. But we have writers, and we have Julie as our executive producer, and David handles all the video content,
Yeah.
Jimmy writes, Robbie, all those, JT, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds so fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something really romantic about being me and Marcy, your other assistant, were talking about it before. Is like, because she is not an actor,
Right.
but she just has always loved the theater.
Right.
Because there's something just very intoxicating and just awesome about being around, and the energy that you get when you're in a room with like a group of actors. It's just really fun. Like there's nothing like it. And that's why I think I kept doing it in college. I don't even think I didn't want to probably be a movie star, even though I guess I'm trying to still be like, I don't know, but it's just really cool. They're a really great group of people. So now we've memento too much, and I've lost my my little rap sheet here.
That's okay.
How long do you want to talk about? Can we talk about Steve Guerra, the founder of the theater?
Sure.
Because there's a samurai sword behind me that's
That was
etched to
yeah.
What was that
So
for?
Steve was the writer of the rock opera that I had originally.
That was the
go to
weird
see.
guy
The
that you
weird-
mentioned. Yeah, that's what I was.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and he was weird. Now you'd be laughing if you heard me say that. Yeah, so he was definitely a visionary, an artistic visionary. He just came up with really kind of crazy ideas, and one of the shows that he envisioned and executed and mounted with all of our help was a show called The Tenshu, and it was a Japanese folklore that he brought to life in English, wrote music for. So it was like this kabuki rock and roll musical. And I remember thinking to him, like, what in the hell are you, what is this? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
And it ended up being amazing. We were at like 97% seating capacity. We did it for 3 weeks straight, which we had never done a show like that before. Typically it's for, an extended run, like maybe on Wednesday, Thursday, or just on Friday and Saturday. But this one was Wednesday through Sunday. We did the show for 3 weeks. And it was beautiful, and it was a celebration of the Japanese culture.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating.
Is that why you guys did such an extended run of it? Because you knew while it was happening?
No, we just knew that, it was, we really transformed the whole space.
Yeah.
So if we were going to do it, we needed to at least do,
commit to it.
Yeah, we needed to commit to it. We needed to do 21 performances to make it worth the while of going through all of that, and yeah, it was just a truly a beautiful production. It was a beautiful production, and it was really wonderful to connect with the Japanese community within Central Ohio, and all the partners that naturally fell into alignment. When you do things outside the box, it opens up so many doors and so many experiences, and allows you to be enriched by so many people that you wouldn't really necessarily have any reason to cross paths with.
Yeah.
And that's what's so exciting about collaborations, and just kind of putting unlikely partners together and seeing what you come up with.
That was very good. That was nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was very nice. That was very good. That's so cool. So when you went to, what was the official degree you went for in college? Just opera?
A vocal. Well, I have I graduated with a vocal performance degree and a Bachelor of Music in Vocal Performance. I also have 2 years of a Bachelor of Music Education degree, and I also have 2 years of a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance Performance as well.
So you weren't ever really acting. I mean, you have to memorize the opera, you have to memorize the song,
but
acting
no, I
lines
learned
wasn't...
acting here. I mean, I did a lot of thespian stuff, and I was in high school as well. But I learned everything really in here, just doing it.
Yeah, just doing it.
Just doing it, yeah. That's a great thing about being an artist is nobody gives a shit if you have a degree. They just need to know if you can do it.
Right, and if you can, then you're in.
And if you can, you're in.
And if you
Nobody
can't,
cares.
see you later.
That's right. Can you sing the song? Can you act the role? That's all that matters.
That's cool. That's very rock and roll. Are most of the people here trained actors outside? I know Nick went to Kent.
Yeah, some are, some aren't. Julie, who's our executive producer, she came in a couple years after I did. She was a paralegal. You know,
that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's a natural transition. But she'd been singing in rock bands, you know, and she's probably one of our premier actresses. And I have a lot of people here that maybe didn't, secondary education wasn't necessarily for them. Yeah, you know, they tried it, maybe it just wasn't working out for them. But they had a lot of natural talent and they had grit. I mean, I think that's probably the characteristic of all of us that is universal, is that for those that really succeed at a high level here, you got to have a lot of grit. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How many people are generally in a show out of the 45? Probably like 10 to 15?
We're all in the show at some point. Yeah.
Just everybody's.
Yeah. So we have 3 to 4 different shows going on per week. So you're either signed. The Lunchbox is our Friday afternoon show, and that's kind of where we get our newer ensemble members, you know, acclimated to the art forms and everything. And then we have the other shows, and you're kind of assigned a show based off of distribution, based off of the needs of that particular show or your schedule or whatever.
And you just work them in as the ensemble. You just keep them moving.
You just, I always say, you know, if you're not happy with your casting on that show, just wait about 4 weeks and we've got another audition coming up.
Right.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And what's the show that's coming up soon that you're in?
Well, right now I'm currently in Leather and Lace Women of Rock, which is a musical tribute to all the pioneer women rockers, as well as the current women rockers. So like I'm singing Heart and Courtney Love and Joan Jett, but we also have like Paramore and Hailstorm represented in the show. It is an amazing show. I mean, it's just really it's a celebration. It's women empowerment. It's just kind of all around badassery, you know.
That's cool. That's very good. Badassery. Ladies and lace.
Leather and lace.
Leather and lace.
Yeah.
I'm messing up.
That's okay. That's all right.
I get a little nervous sometimes.
You get nervous?
Well, because not usually, but like with you're a very empowering person.
Well, thank you.
Your hair is blonde. You're rock and roll.
Yeah,
and you're running this crazy theater troupe, and it's badass. It's badassery, and I'm just sitting here like, what's the next question on the list that I try to throw away before the interview for some reason? I should just carry with.
It's all good.
Yeah. How long? So you commute every day, but do you ever hang out in Columbus?
Yeah, I am up here typically Wednesday and Thursday nights. Yeah. So, so that helps a lot. So I'm not constantly driving up here.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite things in Columbus, about Columbus? Do you have any particular? You're about to move here.
Yeah, I'm about to move here. I mean, I love Columbus. Yeah. I do. I have a special connection to Columbus. Even when I moved down to Cincinnati, I still miss Columbus.
We went to Ohio State too, so you're not completely not from here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like I'm from here. When people say like, "Where do you live?" I'm like, "Well,
go Bucks."
Go Bucks. Yeah, I'm definitely Columbus. I love the vibe of the city. I got to be honest. I love the vibe. I love the collaboration. I love the overall feel. I love the opportunities.
It does seem like a place of like opportunity.
It is. It's the test market capital of the world. I think is that how they describe it. Yeah. But there's innovation. There's a lot of innovation, and there's a lot of support, and it's a real thrill to be on that scene. You know, it really is. It's a real thrill to be on that scene and to be a part of it, and
especially with the arts too.
I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on, and a lot of women-run organizations, and which is kind of very unique. Typically, it's a male oriented industry, but not within Columbus. We have a lot of women leaders within the arts organizations.
So when you keep mentioning collaboration and partnership, who are the partners that you bring in for the shows?
I mean, and when I say partnerships, I mean across the board. I mean partnerships between me and corporate sponsors, Cardinal Health, AEP, Battelle, L Brands. Also have family funds. I have the Rosen Family Fund, the Rosens, who have been so incredibly generous to us, and GCAC and Ohio Arts Council in Columbus. I mean, they all make this possible,
Right.
and but then just my donors, my donors, and just and not just our patrons.
Right.
I mean, it's just
Just showing up helps keep the light on.
just showing up. The fact that they show up with not knowing what the outcome's going to be.
Because there's no trailer for the show.
There's
nothing.
There's we don't even know what the hell this thing is yet. Until we get and that's pretty amazing. But there's a respect, and there's a how do I say, a little bit of there's some cheerleading going on. Come on, we got this. Let's do this.
That's what Columbus is. It's a lot of cheerleading.
It's just a lot of celebration and a lot of kind of patting each other on the back, and also I feel like it's pretty authentic. We're not trying to be something we're not. We are.
It's that Midwest realness.
We just are.
We just are Columbus.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a little technical now with the show questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
It's 400 is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of shows. That's more than there's days.
And we actually have cut back. We reduced our schedule for the first 9 months. And it did exactly what we were hoping it was doing. We're serving more patrons and making more money on less shows. So we used to be 500. So
Jeez.
Now we're at 400. I have worked with my colleagues. We have all worked really, really hard to have a better work-life balance. That was something Steve was not very good at.
No, it seems like he
was obsessed. There's a big difference. Yeah. So this is it's a much. I think we're creating better art because
there's more time to do it.
There's more time to do it, and you kind of need a break every once in a while. It's a pretty all-consuming, intense, industry as is.
Yeah.
So you gotta remove yourself every once in a while and give yourself a little bit of break.
Well, when I was in high school doing it, and in college, we would do 3 months of rehearsal for a 4-day run.
Jeez.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you guys are doing. What is the turnaround on when a show's written?
Well, you have to remember we're writing it too. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So the writing team is writing it. I'd probably say they're maybe starting, depending on what it is. If it's a special project, probably a year in advance. If it's a sketch comedy, I don't know. I'd have to ask them maybe 6 months in advance or so.
Sometimes
but
take
we're
longer.
fast. I mean, we're fast. We just did a collaboration with Hamel on Trial, he's a national recording artist for a piece that we wrote called "Fuck Cancer the Musical." And it was a fabulous, fabulous work that's getting a lot of attention and has a lot of momentum beyond Columbus that, we're excited to explore. But that's one thing he said. He's like, you guys you work so fast. I mean, he presented us the music in February, and we had our first kind of preview event in April, I think, and then we opened it in June.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like 4 or 5 months. That's crazy.
So every department kind of works in isolation. There's communication between all
course,
the departments, but we don't really, that's the challenge that we have. We don't really know what the show is until we put it all up. And so a lot of times we'll be promoting it as, it's this type of show, and this is who it's going to, the demographic that we're going for and all that. And then we put it up and we're like, oh, actually, it's not that at all. Something completely different, equally cool, but not even remotely what we thought we were doing. You just don't know until, because it has a life of its own. You know, it's
And so, what's the rehearsal process like? You just get a week?
No, we have a week of pre-tech and then a week of tech, and then we go. So I would say every department is working, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks before that. So maybe a 6-week kind of concerted effort, maybe.
Like maybe you get your lines like maybe 3 or 4 weeks before?
No, you would get them before that. You would get them because we have to cast and we have to figure out where everybody is. And, I'll be honest, like really that's my operations department would be better suited to tell you that, or my production department. Yeah. Like I'm kind of along for the ride on all that kind of stuff, to be honest.
That must be kind of nice.
It is.
Well,
I'll
audition.
I got other stuff to,
right,
exactly.
You got bigger fish to fry.
But we all audition. I still audition,
That's so cool.
Yeah, still audition. Julie auditions. We all still audition. it's important to, first of all, just keep up on your chops, but it's important for people to get an opportunity to share their growth.
Right.
You can't assume.
No.
You can't ever assume.
And you could assume that maybe you got a little stale or something.
That's right.
Or something
Yeah.
bad week off. Yeah,
That's
you
right.
don't know.
That's right.
That's really cool that you all auditioned. So I
Mm-hmm.
love that. Did you So when you started at Cincinnati, you were the executive director there too?
I was the general manager back there. I wouldn't actually say, I was just kind of the person that was on site helping to run everything, but I wouldn't say I was the general manager in the true sense of a general manager.
Okay.
I wasn't dealing with the finances. I wasn't doing with all that. I was just kind of overseeing the personnel down there and performing.
Making sure everything was.
Yeah. That was kind of, I don't know what you would actually really call that. But
Maybe
that's
more
what I was doing.
people-based, less so operations-based.
It was kind of both,
Yeah.
but everything, it was still all kind of funneled up through Columbus. So it kind of came down from Columbus to Newport, Kentucky. It was an interesting time. I'm glad I went through it, but I'm
It was in Newport?
in Newport, Kentucky.
It wasn't in Cincinnati?
It's right across the river.
Oh,
Same difference.
okay.
Greater Cincinnati.
Because the Cincinnati, Tribunal did a piece on you, and that's what I read.
Oh, yeah, probably. Cincinnati Enquirer.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, Enquirer. Yeah,
that's an Enquirer.
Yeah.
That's cool too. I see. That's the other thing that I get a little nervous about is that I did research on you. Most of the people I just can't
You
do
can't
any
even
research on. Yeah, because they have their LinkedIn page or I'm friends
Right.
with them on Instagram,
And you're like,
and I've
okay,
talked to
that's
them
it.
at a
Yeah.
bar. Yep, that's
Yeah.
all I get.
Right.
But that's really cool. So when did you get to take on the bigger role that you have now here at
Actually,
Shadowbox?
it was when I realized Steve had a health problem, and his behavior was changing, and that's when we kind of I finally figured I was able to, through marking off the boxes of what could possibly wrong, realize that he probably had a brain tumor, and I was right. So, he was a rock star. He fought it as best he could.
Yeah.
But I'm also a big believer in, we're all just renting this, and
Yeah.
and sometimes it's time to turn it in, and
maybe the next show kind of thing.
Yeah,
on the next show.
I'm really and truly, I say I never wanted the job, but I'm so grateful for the job.
Yeah.
I really love the job, and I love the job because I love the people that I'm doing it with.
Right. Yeah, it's the team here. It's not
the team.
Yeah.
My colleagues are really and truly as good as it gets. They really are. It's amazing. And so for me to be able to do what I do with them is, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. It's all the grit.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Because if you're doing 400 shows a year, which is just still daunting to me because there's only 365 days in a year.
Yeah.
So
There's a
I
lot
guess
of
the
double
lunch
shows in
show.
that
Yeah,
number.
exactly.
A
Right.
lot of double shows.
Yeah, you guys must be just a workhorse in here. It's just
We are.
probably
We are
wild.
a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
We are a well-oiled machine.
Full time.
Yeah.
100%. And what the bigger point I was trying to get to though is that you must all be. Unfortunately, I haven't seen a show yet, but I have seen you guys at. You guys did a David Bowie Prince tribute at
Commons.
Thank you, Columbus
Yes.
Commons, and it was amazing.
Thank you.
It was so fun.
It's a beautiful show.
Yeah, but
It's a beautiful show to do.
it really was. It was really cool and performed excellently.
Thank you.
And we were just
Thank you.
sitting out in the yard
Yeah.
drinking some beers. It was a good
I
night.
tell you, singing "Purple Rain Under the Stars" with all those cell phones flashing to thousands and thousands of people it's right up there with singing "Have Yourself Get By with a Little Help from Your Friends."
Yeah.
With all thousands of people under the stars, doesn't really get much better than that.
No, I bet it doesn't.
Yeah,
Did
it's quite a thrill.
when did you sing that? When did you sing Get Out By with a Little Help from Your Friends, the
When
Beatles
we
song?
did, we have a show that we wrote called "Back to the Garden," which is based off of the Woodstock concert and experience. And it's actually we've done that a couple times at the Commons. We're actually bringing it back this fall because it's the 50th anniversary of Woodstock.
That's
so
cool.
we'll be doing that, and it's a very powerful show, and just kind of reminds us of what's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe where all the rock and roll kind of started.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be the assist, but you said it's 4:10.
Oh, I'm
Just
good
so you
at
know.
4:30.
Oh, okay,
I'm good.
perfect.
Yeah, cool.
That's really great. So, what made you guys? I mean, do you guys do a lot of tributes to fallen rockers all the time?
Yeah, it's interesting. We've when Joe Cocker passed, inspired us to do that, and same with David Bowie and Prince.
Of course.
But then there were others that we just decided to pay tribute to, like the Beatles,
Right.
Pink Floyd, and this Women of Rock. So a lot of it is, what's happening in the world around us? Where's our inspiration?
Yeah.
And so Beatles they were so prolific, right?
Right.
So I think it's a very strong chance that we might do a Beatles 2,
Yeah.
with all the other songs that we didn't get a chance to do,
Right.
Because there were so many.
And dive into a whole nother
Oh
side
yeah,
of it.
exactly.
Did you guys still do similar shows to Tenchu too?
We haven't, I think that was a very Steve-brained kind of artistic,
Experimental,
artistic,
weird.
and I don't know. Right now, I think our entertainment, based off of the group that we have here, we work a lot. It's more, it's very accessible entertainment,
Right.
you know.
Very relative and
Very relative, high bar regarding artistic integrity, but not quite just out there.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's a little bit more relevant.
I like that, though.
Yeah, and it's still it's just as artistically satisfying.
Right, of
It
course.
really is.
The outdoor shows are fun, but like sometimes it's like you just are going to see what you're going to see,
Right,
and what it
that's
is
right,
great.
That's right.
Comedically, because that is a skill unto itself,
yes,
and
it
it's
is.
super cool that you've developed it. How did you develop a comedic bone? I mean, you must have been funny, and you are funny.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up in a very, very funny household. Like
That
my
always helps.
dad was funny, my mom was funny, my brother's funny, and we laughed. There's
Yeah.
a lot of laughter in my household. And when we just started Shadowbox, we were sitting around, and this was before, like, nobody got paid for the first 7 years that we were an organization. We're a volunteer organization. And we were sitting around in our very first theater over at the Buggy Works, which doesn't look anything like what it looks now. And we were talking about Saturday Night Live. We're like, God, it's just so, they're just not as funny as they used to be, and we're like, we bet we could write a sketch comedy rock and roll show. Now, I want to mind you, let's paint the picture here. So you've got Steve, who's this rocker wannabe that was a retired landscaper / model. We literally have a model. We literally have a model who was his partner at the time. Julie, who's a paralegal. Me, and
An opera singer.
And Stephanie, who was an opera singer, and then an accountant. Okay, so we all thought that we could be funnier than Saturday Night Live. Now, I don't even know where but we challenged ourselves, and we're like, okay, in 10 days, we're going to write a show and produce it in 10 days. We're going to give ourselves like a deadline, and we're going to put music in it, and we did, and it was a huge success. And something, I look back on it, some of the sketches were really not good, but some of them are like still Shadowbox classics, and I think it was just kind of a sense of just a willingness to try and commit to it.
And then when it works, you're like, hey, we got something.
And the beauty about sketch comedy is that, first of all, it's a very, very hard art form, but if you get that, we firmly believe you could do anything else as far as on the acting side of it. You think about all the great actors, who started out in sketch comedy, Robin Williams, Jamie Foxx, Jim Carrey,
Steve Carell,
all of these guys, right? And they have these amazing careers as dramatic actors, because you still have to do all the work that you do for a dramatic 2-hour play, you have to do for a 5-minute sketch.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And if you can nail that, like as Robin Williams said, it's easy to act sad. You can't act funny.
No, it's a skill. It's literally a skill.
It's a skill. You have to, and timing. And it's a big rush. It really is.
Especially when you get a laugh, probably. Yeah.
Outlandish characters, and especially when you're on stage with your colleagues who are just some of the funniest people you've ever seen. It's quite a thrill.
Have you guys ever done a play about that motley crew of opera singers, models, accountants, and retired landscapers?
No, I did write a sketch called Disco Divas. That was one of the first ones and it was about these opera singers who were trying to make opera relevant, and so they did an album and disco. So we would do Stayin' Alive, but singing it in opera, and it's very funny. So then we got heavy metal divas, like we did all the various genres for
of everybody trying to get
subsequent sketches. Yeah, it was very funny.
Super cool.
Yeah, it was a fun sketch.
Yeah, it's not like a FOMO, but like it's just this world that sketch comedy and just like being in that. I've gone to Second City. I've done all that. It's so cool.
Yeah, and improv is very different. We use improv to create our sketches, but we don't really do improv in our shows. I mean, it really is sketch comedy. So
That's
it's
great.
like little. It's kind of like a one-act play,
Right.
in 2 or 3 minutes.
And it's over.
Yeah,
in
it's
and
over,
out.
done. Mm-hmm.
And is that kind of what the lunch show is more like?
Yeah, it's just sketch comedy, rock and roll. Yeah, so we've got quite a few
sketch comedy, rock and roll.
Yeah, sketch comedy, rock and roll. Yeah, that's our sketch comedy, rock and roll shows on Fridays and Saturdays. Then we have the rockumentary sometimes. We also have dance theater productions that we do. We have meta-media productions. I mean, it really is kind of what are we inspired to do.
Right.
And our team, someone will get an idea and they'll pitch it and take the lead, and then we all jump in and we all agree, yeah, we want to do that. And we all
do you pitch it in do you have pitch days? You pitch it here. I was about to say, this seems like the room for a pitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
That must be really fun. How often do you guys do that?
Just, it's just kind of like sometimes we'll have to have conversations of, hey, we got to figure out what our season's going to be next year, you know? And as we develop as an organization, we're trying to work further and further out, like, like normal organizations do. Like, we're trying not to be so like just kind of crazy,
right? On the edge of your seat.
Yeah, because we're
always playing catch up.
Yeah, it's a $3.4 million organization. We got to plan. Because we've got a lot to do and a lot to accomplish.
But maybe the whole not planning is kind of keeping the
well, there's still a lot of planning,
of
but
course.
not so. But some people are like planning 5 years in advance, and we're not even remotely that far out.
That's all right.
So we're talking 2020 right now. So yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'd say that's great.
That's right.
I'd say that's a win.
Thank you. I'll let everybody know you said that.
Yeah, that's just as like a FOMO I'm getting right now. It's like a pitch room for like I have a funny bit. All right, I have a funny sketch. Now you said improv, so you just do improv when you're creating. You don't ever
Yeah,
veer
and
off
it's
script
not,
a lot?
and it's just us like bringing the characters to life. We don't. It's not like we're trained in improv or not.
Right.
Not at
And
all.
you're not trying to do that on stage
No,
either.
no.
Like a Second City.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
We don't do that at all. Now we do have improv that happens in our upfront space. That we have an improv troupe out there that uses our space to do that. But it's a we embrace them because we love them, but they're not part of Shadowbox Live.
I got you. And that's what I meant when I said 2 stages. With the upfront
Yep.
stage is
Yep.
it's in full stage.
Mm-hmm.
When you said meta media, do you want to
Elaborate
highlight
on that.
that for people?
Yeah, so we first of all we call our ensemble members meta performers, and it's because we all do so many different things. So
Yeah.
we're running the business and we're performing and all of that. And typically in our industry, you hear of things called a triple threat, and that's singing, dancing, acting, and that's like, ooh, they're a triple threat. Oh my god. And that's the norm around here. Most of us are triple threats, quadruple threats, and all of that.
And business people on top of it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
educators.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just that's what we believe very firmly, that the arts are integrated, and the more that you learn the other disciplines, whether you choose or whether you ever actually use them, it will improve your primary discipline.
Yeah.
So if you're a singer, the better actress you are, the more heart you're going to bring to the song. And if you're a dancer, the better actress you are, the more your movement is going to reflect the emotion.
It all ties together.
It all ties together, even from the musicians across the board. So so we call ourselves meta performers, and then we came up with on these crazy shows that we make up that that's like kind of genre shifting.
Yeah.
It's like, what are these? We don't know. We just call them meta media because it's not multimedia, because that makes you think like a big video, and
Right.
we do have video, but there's dance and there's music and there's spoken word and there's all of that. So that's what we've coined our art form.
I love that.
Yeah.
You made your own little kind of
We did,
subgenre.
because there wasn't a word for it, so we made up our own.
Yeah, it's really perfect. It's rock and roll.
right, exactly.
You guys are just
totally.
living it all the way.
We're living it. That's right.
That's really cool. Meta, yeah, because I thought it was going to be that, with like maybe some live art piece or some whatever which way you can do it.
Yeah,
There's a lot
right.
of kabuki,
Yeah,
all that,
was all that kind
which
of
is pretty
crazy
cool.
stuff,
I
yeah.
bet. That's so great. See, that's the other thing too, and we mentioned this with Larry to touch on a previous podcast, is that you have a very nice way of just kind of like making a point and closing it down, which maybe younger people or maybe just the people I'm hanging out with don't have such a way to do it. And when you say that and you just gave this nice, elaborate thing and it ends, it's just like, where do you go from there? You know what I mean? Because it was so great.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
This isn't my first rodeo.
It doesn't seem like it. No, you seem well seasoned.
But I think also, as you get older, there's more reflection, and there's more kind of understanding of what needs to be said, and sometimes the best thing is to just not say anything at all.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, sit in the silence.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, in your car. Just sit.
That's right.
And I guess an easy one then, since we're back on the car, is what podcast do you listen to?
I'm
Stacey.
really into personal development. Like, I love, I practice it and I feel it. And, first of all, Oprah Winfrey, I just love her. Like, I just think she's an amazing interviewer. I love what she stands for. I love how she's just her, She's very authentic. I think that's really cool. I love TED Talks. Like,
TED Talks are cool.
I love TED Talks. I'm addicted to TED Talks. And I'm just addicted to Audible. Yeah. I'm just like,
Audible.com.
Yeah. I love it.
That's
I mean,
really cool.
I'm voracious. Like, I can't stop listening to them.
Yeah. And it's so easy. And then you can put your headphones on and keep the party going.
Yeah.
Yeah. One you might like, since you love, I'm assuming you love actors and acting and the whole world.
Master classes and all that stuff. I love all that stuff.
Armchair Expert is Dax Shepard. He's married to Kristen Bell.
I love him.
Yeah, he's so funny and so cool, and he is my role model in podcasting. And he has just all. I hate that they call him like A-list, B-list, C-list, but he has all of his B and D-list and some A-list actors on, and they just talk about the industry. And then
I will definitely check that out.
It's really cool. And then he has
him.
experts on. It's called Experts on Experts, where he has like early childhood psychologists and behavioral biologists and all these people on. It's a great podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
I think you'd really
totally
like
gonna
it.
check that out.
Yeah.
Good tip.
Thank you. Yeah. Who is one of your favorite actors currently working?
Oh my God. I don't even know. I mean, I have so many, like, really and truly.
Favorite female actor?
Favorite female actress. I love Parker Posey just because she's so odd. I love her. I love Julia Roberts. I think she's just authentic, and I think that's pretty cool.
Pretty Woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that she does all of that kind of stuff. Charlize, I love her. Oh God, I don't know. I love it. I
That's
really.
Good,
there's
3.
Yeah.
That's
I like a lot of.
And then who's your favorite? Since you're rock and roll, who's your favorite rock band of living people?
I love Heart. I love Ann Wilson. My God. I love. God, I love so many. Like, that's the thing. The part of me is like, I find something out of everything and I learn from it, and I think there's good, whether it's like, I don't really like that. I just saw Lisa Fisher in concert, who sang with the Rolling Stones, and she was in 20 Feet from Stardom, and I just saw her this weekend with Cincinnati Pops, and I mean, she was just, her control was just unbelievable.
Right. I
mean, it was very, very cool. It was very humbling. Oh, you know what? Actually, when I go back to actress, I saw, oh my God, she played in Master Class. And I remember watching, she's an older woman. Oh my God, her name's totally escaping me. It's not Glenn Close. I can't think of the name right now. But it was.
Yeah, Masterclass gets humbling. Some serious people. Yeah. You can have like Steve Martin teach you comedy.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about the actual show called Masterclass. It was, oh my God, I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, it was mesmerizing. It was absolutely. I was clear. I was, in my early 20s, stuck clear in the balcony of the Palace Theater, and this woman's energy was just smacking me in the face.
Right.
And I thought, I want to be like that.
I want to be like her.
She is just, she's badass.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was gonna do the flip of people deceased, but that list is just, it's kind of like, we all know.
Yeah. Right. I mean, they're still alive to me.
Yeah. Right. And you get to almost impersonate them.
So I don't even really think about who's gone and who's not. It's just through their music they live on, and what a beautiful gift to the world.
Yeah. To just have it be left for us.
right?
Forever. Yeah.
And for generations to be exposed and to hear your message and hear your thoughts and your interpretation. Yeah.
There's a big resurgence of like nostalgia.
Yes.
And I guess there's always been that
I was
resurgence.
going to say it all comes back around.
It all comes back
It
around.
all comes back around. Fashion, music, all that.
Yeah, everybody's dressed how they were a couple years ago, and then it'll happen again.
Right.
Do you
Shoulder pads are not allowed to come back in.
I hope not.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I hope
I'm
none of
putting
the.
my
I hope we
foot down
skip.
on
We
this one,
kind of
Jacob.
skipped the '80s.
Yeah.
And I hope we skip the early 2000s.
Yeah, I don't want scrunchy leg warmers. I think we need to all stop that.
I also think guys should always wear properly fitting jeans, never baggy jeans.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I agree. Like, let's show off your assets, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Show
what
up your
we do.
assets. That's
right.
very good.
Thank you.
The wink was good too. Damn. Yeah. You're killing it. You got the comedy covered. I'm off. You throw me off my game again. I did it. You know what I mean? I know what to
I
do.
like it when you turn red, though.
Yeah, I'm blushing. Yeah, it's good. That's why I don't film this. That way I don't have to. It's just on the thing. Is there any parting words that you'd like to share with the Columbus people, or anything about acting or anything in particular?
No, I think life is what you make of it, So I say follow your heart. I say be intellectually clear and emotionally healthy. And, live life to the fullest.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Intellectually clear is, I know I'm kind of ruining your last word there, but intellectually clear is really great advice.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times with the social media and everything, it's like it's so easy to just stay fuzzy all day.
Yeah, there's a lot of haze. There's a lot of haze, and you need clarity. And it's a wonderful thing when it's used correctly. But some people,
Addicted.
Drama.
Yeah.
Drama. I'm like, oh my God, it's more drama than I even put on stage. Goodness gracious.
And you're in a drama troupe.
I'm in a drama troupe, but I'm like, good God.
This is a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing
Thank
this.
you.
I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And it was a lot of fun.
Good.
All right.
Thanks
Bye,
a lot.
everybody. We'll see you guys.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
I'm not always right. I'm only trying to be nice with my unsolicited advice. Unsolicited advice.